I want to introduce a special guest we have with us tonight that is a user of our program, fairly new as well. And we're going to do a little bit of a testimonial with her here. I've just gotten to meet her this evening, so I'm kind of excited about having all of you having the opportunity to meet her as well. So, Christina, are you there with us?
I am. Hi, Rich. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Now, I know you were kind enough to spend a little time out of your evening with us tonight. And I know we only have about 5 minutes or so, but I wanted you first maybe just share who you are, where you live, a little bit about your family situation, and maybe even your own personal circumstance as well, if you would.
Sure. Thank you very much. My name is Christina Sessoms. My husband and I live in Texas. And um, I have dealt with some major medical situations and in my life, shortly after we were married 25 years ago, became paralyzed after surgery within 6 months of the time we were married. And that lasted for 5 years. And then I was told to go to hospice 5 times.
Wow.
So we've certainly had a lot of medical bills and other things. And so we've rebuilt back 7 times. And in that process, we wish we would have had your system years ago. It would have made life a lot easier.
Now, let's stop on that point for a second. So, first, she's going to bring up an interesting point, and we've not coached this. I just met her. You know, she's not a paid actress or anything, I promise you, right, Christina?
Right.
But before you were introduced to us, right? Because everybody comes from different walks of life.
Right.
What sorts of things what sorts of strategies or cash management, debt elimination strategies had you looked at or tried in the past?
Well, first of all, I was raised by an engineer. My dad was an
Okay.
amazing, brilliant engineer, but his budgeting system was if you are 1 penny off, you fail.
Wow.
Well, that didn't work well for me. And so my whole childhood, money became a very negative thing. I didn't want to
Right.
talk about it. I didn't want to deal with it because I was going to fail no matter what.
Yeah.
And so I got married, and then we have all these medical bills coming in. And you know what? We just kind of put them in a box and said, well, I guess someday we'll figure it out. Well, then we found Dave Ramsey and we
Yeah,
started the
that's called denial, Christina. I think that's what that's called.
well, it was, but I think it's also, called you manage what
Final.
you can, right?
Yeah.
We found Dave Ramsey's program, and I think he did serve a purpose. But one of the things that happened to us is we would put money in the envelopes, and I would go to the grocery store, and I would be terrified when I got up there that did I have enough cash to check out?
Right.
And so again, I felt like I failed
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I didn't budget well. Then I didn't budget well enough at the grocery store. And so I started moving money around and started spraying with spreadsheets and lots of other things. And I mean, ultimately, we rebuilt back 7 times, and the spreadsheets work. The problem with the spreadsheets are this: every time I would get sick, be in a hospital, have something happen, my husband has to come in and take everything over, and he's got
Good
to
point.
figure out what to do, how to do it. And the spreadsheets are great, but they don't give you all of the detail.
Well,
And
and they're also not
so,
dynamic, right? They don't ebb and flow with your changing circumstances and so forth.
no, you have to change everything every time something changes. And so that was one great thing that we found in your program is, you know, certainly we hope nothing's ever going to happen. But at this point, the great thing about life is I can pull up your program, he can pull up your program at any given time and know where we're going, what it takes to get there, who do we need to pay, how are we going to pay it, when does it need to be paid, where does it come from, and better yet, we're saving we have a brand new mortgage, and it was 5% last year. We will be debt free October 13th of 2030. We are saving $500,000 on a new 30-year mortgage.
Now, wait, I want everybody to just simmer on this for a second, okay? And Bill and I talk about this a lot. I hate to say it, we become almost cavalier because we hear these incredible numbers all the time, right? So the first time you hear it, you're like, this cannot be real life, right? Listen, it's good, it's true, it's real, and we can prove it because it's math. It's not magic. So one of the things she just said is, now think about this. She's going to save a $500,000 and she's going to be paid off in what, 6 years roughly?
About 5.5.
Five and
Um,
a half years. Now, do you mind sharing how old you are now, Christina?
yeah, I am 55.
Okay.
And my husband is 63 and he's retiring in 5 years. And our concern was we bought a new
Wow.
house. All right, great. He's going to be dead before the house is paid off. And so now we're looking at saying, okay, we would have paid $1 million for a $500,000 house. Now we're
Hmm.
going to pay $500,000 for a $500,000 house and property. And so imagine what we can do with the rest of our money.
Well, now if we find out, Christina, that he's dead before you pay this off now, that we know there's something shady going on because, it's only 5 years from now. Okay. So we're going to be checking up on
Yeah.
you. So one last question about that. And this is really important. What do you now envision as being possible for you and your husband in the future that otherwise would have never seemed realistic to you before meeting us and using our program?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is it's stress free. Like I literally don't worry about it. I pull it up. Now I'm kind of a geek and I've worked a lot with Rick through this
Okay.
program. And Rick says, well, people look at it once a week. Dude, I look at it every day. But
You have
but
a
I'm
family of
kind of
engineers after all. Come on.
but I'm kind of geeky and we've rebuilt back 7 times, so I'm very accustomed to being involved. So it is really nice though to know that if I skip a day, oh my God, nothing's gonna go unpaid
Right.
and I know where things go. But the other thing that I would say is I'm a holistic practitioner. We're looking at building a retreat center. We're putting up Airbnbs. We are now looking at secondary, tertiary, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh strings of income because we have the ability
Wow.
to cash flow all of that with no loans, no PLOCs, no HELOCs. It's just our income.
That's incredible, Christina. I think that's incredible because you just said, you could have just said, you know what, we'll be done in 5 years and just pack it up and we're good. But now you see the possibility of saying, what if we could add a second, third, or fourth property that otherwise that could become income producing properties to give you stability in the future? So, one last very short question, the 30 seconds we have left. What would be the best advice you could give to anybody that's on tonight? Because again, this isn't framed, everybody. I'm just asking this for the first time. You've been in the same shoes as everybody on this call tonight. Was it stressful? Was it overwhelming? Did we make it difficult? Was it anything you could share that would be encouraging or helpful to people watching tonight?
Well, here's the first thing that I would say is number one, go do your free analysis because you have nothing to lose, right? You're going to find out how soon you would be debt free. And unless you know that number already, which I did not know, I only knew that we would be in 5 years and I was going to go figure it out. But the last thing, the second most important thing I would say is when you do that consult, sit down and look at what would be different in your life. Because
Yes.
if you are debt free, then you are not dependent on Social Security, which we don't know if they'll be there. You are
Mhm.
not dependent on any retirement income that you have. You're debt free, and then you can make the choices that you want to make. And that puts the power back in your court instead of the lender's court.
That that is perfect. And Christina, I just have to tell you, and again, I know we are out of time, but would you mind sharing one of the limitations and the struggles you have now just to help people realize how really available this is to anybody?
Sure. So I'm deaf, and one of the things that I would say is they've been very accommodating because if you may or may not see, but there's captions on the bottom. Um, and other than that, the accommodation part, I didn't need physical accommodations, but what I have needed is patience to put all of this in because we have a very low threshold still of
Mm,
what we're willing to let come out of our savings. We are very cash driven.
good for you.
And Rick has worked with us with that instead of saying you have to spend every penny that you have down to make this work. He's been willing to say and very comfortable to say we like cash.
I love that,
Keep your
Christina.
cash over here, which was very aligned with what we believe.
Perfect. I can't tell you personally, one, even dealing through a disability like that, it shows you where there's a will, there's a way. We have clients as young as 18. Our oldest is currently 84. So the fact that it's that readily available and adaptable for everybody. So I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you sharing your story and being so transparent with us and everything you had to share. And I wish you all the luck in the world, and promise to stay in touch with us, because we can't wait to see that 5.5 years maybe go down to even 3.5 or 4. And we're anxious to hear those updates. So you're in good hands with Trish. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight, Christina. Have a great night.
You're welcome. I do want to say this one last real quick thing. That's if
Sure.
we don't increase our income. We are increasing our income, so I anticipate we will be completely debt free in 3 years or less.
I'm gonna stay on top of that and keep in check with how you're doing. That's fantastic. Thank you so very much. We
Y'all have
appreciate
a
that,
great
Christina.
night. Thank you.